Thank you, thank you. It's nice to be back with you all. So we are in the midst of a 12-part Bible study on artificial intelligence. 12 part plus, yeah, ending in Pentecost, possibly. Exactly. That's exactly what that is. Very funny. And so the question is, since we're sort of coming back together for the ninth time we've talked about this, why are we what's the opportunity that exists in this Bible study? Why are we doing this? What's the gift that AI is giving us that inspires this conversation?
Well, to realize only we have souls,
Mm-hmm.
and that God gave us those.
Mm-hmm.
And AI doesn't have anything like that.
So what does that mean, Laurel, that we have it and they don't?
Well, my gosh, it's everything that makes us holy.
Right.
Within Him. It's hard to put words to that.
God made us,
Yeah.
and we made AI.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's a distinction. Like, God made us and we made AI, so maybe God made AI by extension. But the reality is, right? That there's a uniqueness in that, right? Other thoughts?
We don't have to fear AI.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing, right? No fear, right? Because we do have a particular place within God's divine economy, and it is not, it cannot be usurped if God is true to God's word. So the question is, why are we doing this Bible study? Like what are we learning? Like, what's the well?
I think, like many things, I'm so grateful for this Bible study because of all the things that were just said. We are called to be in this room together. We're discerning. We're not being afraid. We're re-examining that we have souls. And like many things in life, like we learned in Revelation, there's this cycle that just sadly always happens in the kingdom of human beings.
Cycle of, and we could call it sin, right?
That's right.
In human. And why do we? I was gonna say, why do we sin, right? But that's like a super simple question and a super hard question. We've talked a lot about sin because who doesn't love sin? We're good at it. Who gave us sin?
Choice, freedom, God.
Yes. Right. God for freedom, choice, right? Right. All that stuff cascades. It's a simple theology we practice in Christianity, but this book, right, is all about this idea of our humanity. And the beauty of AI is that it calls us to consider our humanity, right? Because all of a sudden there's this other thing that seems pretty good at stuff, right? And what it's really good at is information. It's excellent at information. And so today's topic is wisdom versus information, the Bible versus AI. So those are sort of the two categories we're going to look at. We're going to look at information, we're going to look at wisdom, but we're going to do it in the Bible, right? In the context of the Bible. So how's that sound?
Good.
Good. We'll see if we're going to get off the. 2 weeks ago, we didn't even get off the first screen. That was really.
It got stuck.
There you go. So the question is, we'll start with, is what is information?
Well, facts.
Facts, right? Okay, good. Inez, thank you. Facts.
Not necessarily true. There are
Facts.
untruths, but it's information.
So maybe truth and not so truthful, maybe, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stories.
Is information just stories? Okay.
Globally, it's everything that hits your senses. Every sense detects information.
All
Experiences.
senses, experiences.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you.
Data, right? That's right. Data. Information is data.
And that can be really broad, like qualitative data, quantitative data, data about our lives, data about the world. Like that can be really broad and expansive.
Qualitative.
Will somebody please explain the difference between qualitative Data and,
Quality,
Quantity.
one is quality and one is quantity.
oh, that's easy, got that. Why did you
So,
say it?
so in the world right now, there's a whole community of people who believe that everything is data, right? And if we have enough data, then we can predict everything. We know everything that's going to happen. And if we have enough data on you, we know exactly what you're going to do. And so it's interesting, in the world of materialism, where data is king, there are some who believe, there's that book out, what's that book, Ethan, that was out just recently?
Genesis?
I haven't read it. No, not yet.
Determined.
Determined, right? And Determined is by Stanford, smart guy. I don't know what his department is. Probably something
I
science.
think he's a physicist.
Is he a physicist?
Maybe
Yeah, I
a
was going to say that.
Yeah.
I think he is a physicist. I think you're right. Who says if we get all the data on you, you are completely predictable.
That makes me really mad.
Well, that's just
Response
untrue.
is just, no, I don't think so.
It's just
Right?
untrue.
So that's, but think about the framework,
Yes,
the
yeah.
limited framework in which these materialists are working, right? They're working only in a world where they believe there's just data. We don't believe that. And what don't they believe in?
The soul.
Right.
No, they
Choice.
don't get it.
Right? And that's, the soul's not a part of that. Spirit's not a part. It's all material. It's all body. It's all this. It's brain. It's body. Right? Maybe it's it's the connectiveness of the world. They do believe in that. So information is really about data. And if
Wait,
you,
can I, I'm so sorry to be so, wanting to understand. So you're saying that data is only driven by, I think there is more predictability than we feel because we do act certain ways that are driven by qualitative things that aren't data necessarily, but that gets factored in. So these habits and other things.
I think there is a lot of predictability in anybody who has kids or is married. Like, I know what's going to happen next.
Yeah. I'll be teaching.
I can completely predict that.
But run really far, right? You can carry that out.
You can carry it out.
God will.
But here's so you might be able to carry that all the way out, except Christians would believe that it is not determinative because of what? Freedom to choose. So we actually believe that you can change your mind, right, through your relationship with God, or you can stop an activity, right? Some people don't. I happen to. And people are super, like he's asked, you didn't do that again. Yeah, I see it's going to do that here. Sorry, do it here. So you can do it over here. And you can do it over here. And they're going to want to do it so badly because it's so tied into their system. But we also, as Christians, believe, because God did give us data. God did give us the material world, right? God did give us these things. Mark?
Of course, today we have the algorithms where if I'm searching for something, next thing you know, I'm getting bombarded with advertisements for the same thing.
Yeah.
And it may even carry on for a month or weeks later. It doesn't know when to shut down. I've gone and made my purchase.
And it keeps coming after you.
Yeah, so it does take our data.
It does, and that's not an ineffective thing. I mean, they keep doing it. You know why they keep doing it?
Because it works.
Because it works, right? Because you're the kind of person that blah 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 likes racing cars, or likes cashmere or black shoes. Or
What
something.
happens though when you apply Moore's law to that? You know, now Moore's law, it used to take 2 years for computing power to double.
Yeah,
Now it's like
yeah.
a month.
Moore's law. We're probably not going to go towards Moore's law. It's just the idea of the doubling of computer capacity over time.
That's the
This is really getting into the weeds, but I'm reading this wacky book by Ilya DeLeo.
Oh yeah. What's it called?
It's the universe, something of the universe.
Yeah, Ilya's fabulous. I think she's
Well,
really
I
interesting.
can't really exactly understand it, but she says something about quantum mechanics and the uncertainty of quantum mechanics and how that sort of intersection between total chaos and certainty, that's where God lives. Like she really kind of gets to, I'm not even sure I'm articulating it right, but anyway.
Yeah. So one of the things that Ilya, it's maybe for a different conversation, but one of the things that she believes is that we are moving in tandem with God as partners towards co-creating a future. And that future is something that God has in mind generally, but not specifically. So I think that's, she believes in evolution very strongly because evolution is directional. And I think evolution makes a lot of sense. Why? Because evolution actually makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't mean it's outside of God's divine economy. I mean, it's a pattern to match within God's divine economy. And so she believes in a high level of partnership, but she also believes that God is with us in this journey and that it is not predeterminative. God's not saying, we're going to get there and I'm just waiting for you to get there. So we are participants in the movement. I think that's what she talks about. And quantum mechanics is the uncertainty principles that we're constantly living into at all times, because there could be any number of different futures that could take place. But one will take place with every next step we take, right? Generally towards an outcome that God wants. I think that's
Okay,
that's
thank
a
you.
very, but she's a very interesting author.
And within the spiritual gym, I think the spiritual gym becomes so incredibly important because of this that everybody's been alluding to, things in front of us that are going to help us become better, a better society, children and people created in a way to have strengths over here, over there to help solve a problem. If we need to be tethered to and held accountable by being together in our spiritual gym.
In a community, right? Which is always so hard. I mean, it's one of the things we try to do, Dan and I talk about this every so often, being straightforward with somebody. Because a lot of times that's, if you say, I've seen you do this before, they're like, what are you talking about? Okay. Like there's the whole defensiveness activity that exists, right? So it is sort of hard to have a community help us form. It's hard. It takes supreme humility and vulnerability for everybody else. So right, it's a tricky thing. So where do we find information in the Bible? Data, facts.
Genealogy.
In all the stories.
There you go.
There's so many stories.
Right. Well, the genealogies, right? That is some fact.
Story.
And all the stories, they're all the stories.
Stories, right? But which stories?
Well, it's
No.
all information.
So the histories.
Yeah.
Like, so you have the histories. Where are the histories in the Bible? We'll get to it, right? So you have the genealogies, that's information. You have the stories, that's information.
Sorry.
Kelly?
The Ten Commandments, and also the
Yes,
the laws.
yes, absolutely. So if you look at the Bible, those are sort of the three areas of information, right? The genealogies, the laws, the histories, right? Are the places of that's just information, right? And you read the Bible and you look at those and you're like, look what we got, right? And you're like, that's just information. Those are just the facts, right? Ezra comes down, he talks to Cyrus, right there comes down. How many people, just incidentally, think those are the facts those are true facts?
Yeah. Depends on who wrote it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Some are and some
Right.
aren't, right?
What'd you say, Ethan?
Some are and some aren't.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting. So let's, right, because these are like discrete, answerable questions, like who was David's father?
We forget.
Who's David's father?
Saul.
Jesse.
Jesse was, right?
Jesse.
Right, and who was David's son?
Saul.
Right. I mean, so that's whether we believe them or not. Those are answerable facts, right? Those are discrete, answer-oriented things. But the interesting thing. So we'll look at these and we'll decide. We'll look at each one of these one at a time. So let's go to the genealogies. We got a couple. Somebody want to turn to Genesis 5. Somebody want to turn to Genesis 10. Somebody want to turn to Matthew. Well, let's just turn to Matthew 1 and Luke 3. Matthew 1 and Luke 3. In our indisputable full facts-based Bibles. Do you got one? Which one did you get? Would you get Matthew?
Matthew 1.
Okay, let's read Matthew 1
I'm not gonna say all their names.
So let's read Matthew 1, but don't screw up any of the names.
I can't do that.
I have one, but I didn't put it in.
Don't, yeah, as long as you don't, whoever, but I just want somebody to read these, but don't screw up the names. Anybody,
Nobody can do that. Can't be done.
Thank you. There, I don't care.
that's super
I
funny.
ran out without my purse.
Okay, I'm gonna read them.
Yay.
And I can assure you, the pronunciation you're gonna hear
Correct.
is the correct one.
For this time and place.
Because there's an ontological change within me, Bob, when I was ordained.
Yeah.
And so suddenly I could pronounce all of the words and names in the Bible correctly. That is the nature of being a priest, if you were wondering. Really the only value add
You don't have
to the whole
At
process.
least you don't have to pause. What you learned was not to pause.
What I learned is not to pause. That's super funny, Ted. Yeah, yeah. That is super funny. So what do we got here? So let's see. An account of the genealogy of Jesus, the Messiah. So it's Jesus' family tree. His 23andMe, the son of David, the son of Abraham. So Abraham was father of Isaac, Isaac father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah, and his brothers, Judah the father of Perez, and Serah, and by Tamra. So it's fabulous. So which women get named in the genealogy?
Very few.
I know very few, but which ones?
It is a girl name.
It is a girl's name.
Which one?
But she's the one that had to sleep with her.
Brother.
She's gotta check the past.
Right? So the women that show up in here are outsiders,
Yeah, underdogs.
underdogs, like they're the brawlers, right? So people say, there's not women mentioned in the Bible. So for every one of these women, you mention 100 men, and that sort of balances out because these guys are like pretty gutsy. Tamar's one. And Perez, the father of Hezron, the father of Aram, the father of Abimedad, the father of Nahshon, the father of Boaz by Rahab, right? And Boaz, the father of Obed by Ruth, right? These were like rock star Ruth, right? Obed, the father of Jesse, the father of David. David, the father of Solomon, by the wife of who?
You're right.
Right, Solomon, the father of Rehoboam, the father of Abijah, the father of Asaph, the father of Josaphat, the father of Joram, the father of Uzziah, the father of Jotham, the father of Ahaz was a bad guy, remember that? Ahaz, the father of Hezekiah, had a relative named Hezekiah, the father of Manasseh, the father of Amos, the father of Josiah, the father of Jenai.
Don't pause, just go.
I wasn't. I was interrupted. For the father of, indeed, the deportation to Babylon.
Oh.
After the deportation to Babylon, Jeconiah is the father of Salathiel is the father of Zerubbabel, the father of Abiah, the father of Eliakim. Ted! Somebody mute Ted! Father, right? Azor, the father of Zadok, the father of Achim, the father of Eliud, the father of Eleazar, the father of Nathan, the father of Jacob, the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary.
Oh, just
That's it. So-
a tiny question.
Oh, there's another
How
Jacob.
many years? How long did these guys live?
That's a very great
What
question.
generation?
What is, anybody know, so what is the time frame of this?
Like Methuselah.
Dunno.
No?
Exactly.
This isn't accident. This isn't accidental,
No.
right?
It says 14 generations.
Abraham.
14 generations, right? So 7 generations from Joseph back to the deportation, right? 7 generations from, is that right? is it
So Abraham to David.
No,
was
it's 14 each, right?
14 each, right? So you have
Yeah.
14 Abraham to David, David to the
14.
deportation, the deportation
Messiah.
to the Messiah,
So it's 3 times 14.
right? And those are just facts. I'm not sure if they're true facts, but they're answerable questions,
Yeah.
right? So you have that. But now, let's flip to Luke. But let's say something about this though. Why is this genealogy of math? What does this tell us? Why is this? It's just facts, right? But what does it? It's facts with. It orients us to what?
Well, Jesus is
History.
coming out of Abraham's
Yeah.
lineage.
It's about identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Validating
It's
that.
also
Is
just about
Israel.
1,000 years.
Son of Israel.
About 1,000 years, probably.
42 generations, 25 to 30 years. That's 1,000 years.
Unless they're 100 years old.
Some of them.
But I do think there is David was supposed to have lived 1,000 years. So and Abraham was supposed to 1,000 years before David.
I think it also could tell us that like Jesus just didn't appear by magic, like a superhero. Like it could be telling us there's just this long line, this long line of people that formed him and that led up to him.
And
Right? Who
predicted-
are we?
It's a family tree.
Who are
Yeah.
our people? Right?
We're all children of Abraham.
People.
We're descendants of Abraham.
Right? Who are our people? Like where are we from? Right? So this is really important. This is about identity. So while it's facts, it's data. Supposedly, it's there not to share data with us. It is there to share identity with us, right? Who we are, where are we from, right? And it's identity that is embodied.
And wouldn't this have been handed down verbally and we're hearing it? So it's-
What do you mean by embodied there?
It's identity embodied in people with names,
Oh,
right? So
got it.
Literally in
Now,
others.
AI would have a heyday with that family tree, wouldn't it? If you were to plug it in.
It's probably in there.
not sure what you mean, but it couldn't pronounce it as well as I could. If that's what you mean.
Probably hundreds of pages.
Possibly like so. Anyway, so we have identity. Let's read Luke 3. Who's got Luke 3? Luke. This is after Jesus is born. Luke 3. Where are we here?
Right at the beginning of the chapter?
Yeah.
That's right.
The
23.
proclamation.
Yeah, right
Chapter
here.
3.
Let's see. It's verse 23.
Oh, I like
And let's just start. Right, because this is a little different, right?
Goes up the other direction.
How is this different? It goes up, right? It goes up to
Adam.
it goes up to Adam. So let's start at chapter 3, verse 34. Son of Jacob, son of Isaac, son of Abraham, son of Terah, son of Nahor, son of Serah, son of Reuben, son of Peleg, son of Eber, son of Shelah, son of Canaan, son of Ephaxarax, son of Shem, the son of Noah, son of Lamech, son of Methuselah, son of Enoch, son of Jared, son of Malaleson, son of Cana, son of Enos, son of Seth, son of Adam.
So it goes all the way back to Adam.
Adam, yeah.
Right? All the way back. And somebody count up those generations, right? So there's these generations of people. So this takes us, so the identity represented in the Gospel of Matthew is for what community?
Oh,
Say it.
the
Jews.
Jews.
Absolutely. It's
So
for the
they
Jews.
know.
And the son, and the identity for Luke is for who?
Christians.
Mm-mm.
Everybody?
Yes. Right?
Because Adam?
Because it goes back to Adam. And he's the father of everybody. Right? So who's included in the Jesus story?
Everybody.
Everybody. So this is just facts. Like everybody, like this is, you're wondering when creation started. This is the genealogy all the way back. Super clear, super simple. That's how we know that the universe is only how old? 6,000 years. This is just the facts, friends. Just the facts. So that's what the genealogies teach us, the facts. That's how people got the age of the universe, incidentally, through the facts in the Bible. So, about identity, about roots, about continuity, about belonging, about community, about inclusion. That's what that information is for.
Do the names and the generations match between Matthew and Luke?
Um,
I'm just curious, is that like a thing anybody's ever looked at?
I think.
Most likely.
guess somebody's looked at that.
I don't know, yeah. I just wondered if
It's a hunch.
somebody had ever
But
like
you should look
looked
at it.
that. Thanks.
You know, that's the weird thing about this book. There's a lot of people that looked pretty hard at this book for a very long time. That is for sure.
I'll ask
These are
AI.
both the result of oral histories. So they could be different
They could be.
depending on
Yeah.
whose oral.
That is a 2-second AI answer. This is a-
Episcopal
D-
answer.
yeah, it's as long. So the next facts that we're going to get at, just the facts, just information. Oops, is this the law codes?
Okay.
So let's go to. We'll just do Exodus 20:23.
No, according to AI, no, the genealogies in Matthew and Luke do not match as they differ in lineage after King David and blah, 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 blah.
After King David.
Good to know.
Not
That
before
is-
King David?
There was nothing
Maybe
before.
read the rest. Yeah.
So we have the.
Solomon.
In Exodus 20, we start with the 10 Commandments. That's just facts. Where do those facts come from?
Well, God, Moses.
God. God gave us via Moses up on the hill, right? And then we have laws concerning the altar. We have laws concerning slaves. We have laws concerning violence. We have laws concerning property. We have laws concerning restitution. We have laws involving social and religious laws, justice laws, Sabbath year laws, annual festival laws, and that's it.
Who gave? Okay, God gave the 10 Commandments. Who did the laws?
Well, I mean, so God gave the 10 Commandments to Moses. Moses came down, gave those, but then that Jewish community did, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's what
that's what I was
the
thinking.
Levitical laws, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we see here, and that's what we see here, right? We see laws about. Well, what are these laws about?
Living
Conduct.
community.
Living
How to live.
Right? It's the character of the community.
Yeah.
Right? It is, and what do the laws tell us?
Boundaries.
That's exactly right.
Oh.
That's exactly right. That's Elizabeth is clearly listening to the Sunday sermon.
Would you say
well,
it out loud?
Boundaries. She said boundaries.
It just said.
And so the laws tell us this. The laws tell us who is in and who is out. Right? So it talks to tells us how to live. And when we know who is in and who is out, according to Deuteronomy, everything goes well for you. And when you get and so this is a very important thing to understand about the Old Testament, right? A lot of folks think the Old Testament's wackadoodle, and folks are fighting all the time, killing each other, and God is mad and God is happy, and they do this and they do this. But all of those stories are about being in and being out. All of those stories are about boundaries. And if you break the boundaries, things will go bad for you. So when we get to the history of Ezra and Nehemiah, and Ezra and Nehemiah were who?
Prophets.
No,
They weren't.
Brothers.
No.
Prophets.
no. They were priests and leaders that brought the people back from exile to rebuild the temple, right? So one was a priest, Ezra was a priest, Nehemiah was just a dude who was actually had the great job, top-notch job in Babylon, or actually in Persia, of being the cupbearer to the king. Big job, right? You're trusted when you're the cupbearer to the king. Right, so and he's like moping around one day. This. Everybody knows the story of Nehemiah. He's moping around, like carrying the cup. And the king's like, "Hey, what's wrong, Nehemiah?" "Oh, nothing." He's like, "No, come on, tell me." He said, "Well, I really want to go back to Israel. My people are not, they want to go back, and I want to lead them back." And so it's like, "Well, if you quit moping around, here's a bunch of guys to take you back. I'll give you a charter. You go back and rebuild the walls and rebuild the temple." So
One does an army, one doesn't. I mean, that's right.
yeah, that's true. So anyway, so the Old Testament's about these boundary things, right? And the Jewish community says God's going to be mad at us unless we stay within the boundaries. How do we stay within the boundaries? We follow the laws. We're not following the laws. We married foreign women. See, one of the things that Ezra did is he made all of the Jewish people in the Judea who stayed there, who had married foreign wives, he made them get rid of all their wives.
Yep.
Right? Because then, who's happy if all the Jewish men get rid of their foreign wives? Who does that make happy?
Jewish women.
The equilibrium of the community.
It makes God happy.
Does it though?
That's not a fact.
No, it doesn't. But that's the story. And because everybody thinks that's the story, who needs to come to town to set us right?
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Right, Jesus. All right, so that is the story of the clarity of Luke versus Matthew.
And it takes that long.
Right?
Clarity of Luke versus Matthew.
Well, Luke takes it all the way back, right, to all people, right? And so that's and the reason, like when you read the Old Testament and you see all of these things, every once in a while, I love this about the Old Testament. It talks about the merciful God, right? And why does the Old Testament? So you have the guys and they're living there and they're doing all these bad things, like they're marrying foreign women, right? And then they get straightened out, and God keeps coming back. How many times does God come back to the Jewish people?
Innumerable.
All the time. And so Jesus is like, hello, message, right? The message is that God cares less about this, in and out, and more of this, God being merciful, right? That's like the wake up. Because if you look in the Old Testament, you do see a merciful God all over the place, right? But they're thinking it's merciful only because God's now happy that we're back inside the boundaries. And Jesus is like, no, God is merciful because God is love. Right? And so that's the tension in the Old Testament, right? That God is there, God keeps coming back, but it's not because they abide by the information. It is because you recognize a merciful God. And this is a God of love. It's God's nature. So that's all you need to know about the Bible. Bible study over. Right, you see the interesting thing about this. It's pretty fascinating.
And AI can't relate to that.
Well, we'll
It
get
has no emotions.
Well, we'll get to the AI thing. We're just we'll get to the facts. We'll get to, I got a lot more there, more to come. So we talked about this. So the last one, and I already touched on with these guys, is the history. Now, when we read the history, so this is one of the problems that we can have when we read the data, right, or the facts. It's one of the biggest problems going on in Israel today is reading the history as facts that mean what?
What you wanted to.
Well, it means certain boundaries.
Certain boundaries.
And who's inside the boundaries matters a lot, which means if this is supposed to be yours, but you have foreigners here, you must do what to them?
Kill them.
Send them to the Sudan. Literally, right? That's what's going on over there right now. They're putting people in planes, sending them to Sudan because of the facts of the data of the history.
Well, there's more, but sure.
But
Well, that's where it starts, though,
That's
Elizabeth.
where it starts.
That is completely where it starts.
But there's more.
Well, sure, at
Yeah.
that point, right? But that's why this starts in belief of the facts of the history.
where
It's
in
everywhere.
oh.
It's always like that.
Well, yeah, but in this case, in this situation, the insiders is based on the history.
Where in the Old Testament? Okay, so you've got 10 Commandments, and then all of the guys made the concomitant rules to go with them. And that was cool because it helped helped a community run. But then it got out of whack. And when did, in the Old Testament, or did God really give that mercy message before Jesus?
Oh, it happens a lot in the Bible, right? We'll get to that next when we start talking about wisdom. But I mean, the Psalms talks about it. The prophets talk about it, right? So there's a lot of converse. David talks about it, right? It's woven deeply into the Old Testament, which is why it springs so wonderfully in Jesus' time.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, so remember on the road to Emmaus when Jesus is talking to them about how God, they're like, oh, because if it wasn't already in the Old Testament, deeply buried there, it wouldn't have translated, right?
Yeah, too
so the
bad.
reason it translated is because it's there, right? It's completely there, right? I mean, it starts coming out of the garden. God goes with them, right, from the very beginning, and so that was why there was such mass conversion, because it was as my friend John Roberts always says about business, it was the next thing. Like, what's the next thing that is logical conclusion? And that was the shift, right? Already there, but it was the next thing. So that's what we think about when we think about, we have the facts of the Old Testament, we have the genealogy facts, we have the law facts, we have the history facts. Of course, we argue a lot about whether the facts of the facts, right? You know, like, really, is that all the way back to Adam? Doesn't seem to jive. But the point is, there's facts, answerable questions, right, based on history, based on law, based on the genealogies. But what that did was that created identity, right? That created boundaries, right? That created a story that allowed them to have a vision for their future, right? So while we see it as information, right? And if you typed into ChatGPT, you said, give me the genealogies, it'd give them to you, right? Give you the facts, right? Give me the facts of the history of Israel. They would go and give you the facts, right? We can argue about that, but that's the idea of information in the Old Testament, or in the Bible, sorry. It is about theology. It is about identity. It is about community and how the community is meant to live together.
I wonder one thing.
Sure, what is
If you plug that genealogy into ChatGPT, which is AI,
yeah.
you plug the genealogy into it, at what point would it get all jammed up? Have you ever put queries into ChatGPT and it can only take you so far?
Maybe, but they'd get this right. I mean, I have to say, one thing that I find about ChatGPT particularly, and the Bible, it's got a lot of data on this, right? It's usually pretty right.
Interesting.
Or the Bible, because there's so much written about. There's vast quantities, like the there's a lot of questions that have been asked, and that information has been hoovered up.
Isn't
Right,
ChatGPT and AI is
Yes, it is.
basically a compilation of everything that's ever been on the internet.
Well, I would say people probably say everything written within the Western canon of text, right? I mean, there's a bias to it. We won't go that way now. What we will do is, now we've talked about information. I want to talk now about wisdom. What is wisdom? How's it different than
I feel
information?
like I want to use the word liminal.
Liminal.
The liminal space between
I like that.
a fact and your lived experience. Or something like that.
yeah. Facts
Good.
with
But
live.
It's favorite word.
That's pretty good. All right, that's the only right answer. We'll move on. That's interesting. I like that. Other thoughts?
Morals, values,
Wisdom.
principles.
Okay, well, I'm going with that. Morals, values, principles. What else? What did you say, Mark?
It's the ultimate aspiration.
Maybe aspirational. Okay.
But he made it big aspiration.
Who did?
He said the ultimate
Also, I took
aspiration.
that out.
Those are all positive.
Okay, what's negative wisdom?
A whole lot. I mean, it's
Like, what would be an example of negative wisdom?
Greed
The dark side.
Like what? Yeah.
Robert Kennedy.
But how do you
But why is he
define
that
that?
way? I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know why things come out of my mouth,
No, that's
but
good. Yeah.
hubris. I don't know why.
Yeah, maybe
I
maybe
just,
hubris.
um,
Yeah.
What is
That
evil
that
side?
the person
Yeah, I think that's right.
thinks he really knows it all.
What'd you say, Eric? Humility?
Humility.
Yeah, I think humility is wisdom, right? We'll find that.
So hubris is the opposite.
Definitely what you know and
Good.
don't know.
It's the opposite of hubris.
Let's ask this question. Where do we find wisdom?
Can I add, sorry, just one more thing?
Sure.
When I think, this isn't a definition, but when I think of wisdom, I always think of old soul.
Old soul, baby. Okay. So that's so funny.
She didn't say old school. She said old
Oh,
soul.
Old soul.
Just kidding.
Old school.
It's funny.
Well, because so
I love that.
I do too. I love it a
I
lot.
just don't know what it means.
Is there any soul that isn't an old soul?
Well, that's
It just occurred to me.
That's
Well, I mean, it's interesting. So that Richard Rohr book that we read, we talked about prophets that were younger prophets that
Yeah.
spoke about an evil that came out of a person versus the wiser prophets who had the wisdom to see it through to its different conclusion.
Interesting. Yeah.
And even when we think now of like younger, even babies, but like a child who seems like they have an old,
Yeah.
child, and they have an old soul. So that's just kind of juxtaposed.
Oh no, they don't have old soul. They're just well behaved, Kelly. It's just the kids we like that like sit still in church.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, Barbara.
There's a beautiful tradition to do with old souls in Buddhism of the Bodhisattva, who are the souls that agree to reincarnate endlessly until all beings have reached enlightenment.
That's nice.
So, and like
That's a nice. Ted,
yeah.
you're on mute, Ted. I hope you're not reading names out of the Bible.
Okay, isn't it the ability to analyze and apply facts?
Analyze and apply facts. That's good too. Okay. And apply, huh? Okay. So where do we find wisdom in the Bible?
All the prophets try to do it.
We got a lot of it, right? And now why would we have so many books and places that are applicable to wisdom? Why? Because the Bible's about what?
How to live.
About how to live, right?
Yeah.
And it's about who is the Bible for? So it's about how to live as humans, right? And so the good life in the human life is not necessarily about So if we ripped the genealogy and we ripped the history and we ripped the laws out of the Bible, we would have, in a way, disembodied it, right? And our God is an embodied God, so that's not necessarily great, right? And we would have taken away some of our identity and how we belong and who we belong to.
A lot of the good stuff.
A lot of the good stuff.
What about Ecclesiasticus?
Where is Ecclesiasticus found? Here.
It's in the other Bible that didn't get included in the.
No, it's in the Book of Wisdoms. We'll get to it. It's in the Book of
I
Wisdoms.
remember really tripping out on that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of categories here. But so we have so the Bible is full of how to live, how to apply, right? From a lot of different perspectives. And you know, the Old Testament, so sort of like we're talking about the quick jump from Old Testament to Jesus, is because it's about so much of this and how to live and how to feel and how to be in your life. And is it always good?
What do you mean good?
No.
You know, happy clappy.
Is the wisdom good or is life good?
Is life
What are you
good?
asking?
No, sometimes it's not super hot. And we see that, don't we? All through the books of
Yeah.
wisdom, right?
Right.
It's pretty interesting. So let's do a quick scan of some of these. Quick scan. I'm not as far along as I thought I would be.
Only 12 more pages.
That's about 6 out of 7 on St. John's.
You're a lot further along than the last time you did this.
I thought I said put him on mute.
I missed it. What did he say?
He's harassing me.
What did he say?
He's teasing me. Let's just do the Book of Wisdom because it's a lot further along than we were last time I taught Bible study. So we got the Book of Proverbs, right? So these are the wisdom books, to your point. Book of Proverbs, practical saying that teaches the art of godly living. Book of Proverbs. Ecclesiastes, a philosopher reflects on the limits, urging us to receive life as a gift rather than something we can control.
There's kind of a.
That is not American. Job, whatever Kate said. Last one, right? That's suffering, humility, Eric, to your point, and the mystery of God. I mean, the thing I love about Job is God is huge in Job, right? Like, that's like, what do you know? Wisdom of Solomon, this is such a great one, right? That's divine wisdom as radiance. And Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, is in what part of the Bible?
The Apocrypha.
The Apocrypha. Right, so Presbyterians don't get this. This will be all new to you guys.
Why wasn't that included in the Bible?
Calvin didn't. Well, it is
The
included in the
Council of
Bible.
Nicaea.
But it's not included in all Bibles. The Protestant Reformation did not like it, so Calvin and his boys ripped it out. I'm sure it was his boys. we can be pretty sure in Calvin world that it was his boys. So these are the wisdom books, and they are delightful to read. They're delightful. I mean, Job's not delightful to read, but I would encourage you to read Sirach sometime, right? So we have about godly living, about the patterns of life, about suffering, right? About ordering of creation, wisdom of Solomon, and about discipline and faithful living within the Jewish tradition. That's Sirach, and it's really, really good stuff. We'll do one more. Let's, I think. Psalms. What are the Psalms about? So the thing that's so cool about the Psalms is they're formative, not instructional. Right? They're just not. You see it right in the very first Psalm I quoted here. Blessed is the one who meditates on the Torah day and night. Right? So one of the things I really want to encourage us to do as Christians, and the reason we do the daily office every day, or we do hour by hour every day, is what happens when you do the same thing every day.
Habit forming.
Becomes ingrained.
Becomes ingrained in you, right? And so, you know, that is the beauty of repetitive prayer. Because then when you've memorized these prayers, only not because you're trying to memorize them, but because you're doing them, they become a thing that becomes beautiful to meditate on. So I was talking to a parishioner the other day, yesterday, and he went to the doctor, and the doctor did something to his eyes, right? You know what that's like, right? Did something to his eyes. And so he's sitting in the doctor's office. Doctor leaves him in the office by himself, right? Have you ever had that happen? Yeah. Sarah?
Never.
So leaves him in the office by himself. And what can't he do all of a sudden?
Can't see.
What does he usually do that he can't do?
Look at his phone.
He can't scroll through his phone, right? He can't scroll, because what would you do if you're stuck in the doctor's office? You would scroll through your phone. Couldn't do it. And so he said, you know what he did?
Prayed.
He started thinking about prayers he knew. Like so it's one thing to pray, oh man, pray the doctor gets back here soon, right? I mean, there is that prayer, but there's the meditative prayer of praying on the Lord's Prayer, or praying on the Apostles' Creed, or praying on my favorite one. I do this almost every day. I say it every day for sure, but I sometimes take time to meditate on it, is the great Thanksgiving at the end of the daily office. Almighty and merciful God. That's how it starts. Almighty and merciful God, right? We give you thanks. Boom, boom, right? This is the theology, and it's awesome. But the idea of doing prayers regularly is it affords you the capacity to meditate on these prayers on your own time, right? And that is delightful, right?
It is.
Because, do you do that? Yeah, because it is formative in wisdom. So the Psalms are meant, I don't have the Psalms memorized, but I'll never forget, I was with a guy in the Holy Land who used to be a monk, became a priest. And so as a monk, they would say the Psalms every single day, twice a day, right? Day in and day out, year in and year out. He had all this book of the Psalms memorized completely.
Wow.
And so he was in the habit of meditating on it. Like we're praying together, and like we're doing the Psalm right out of the prayer book, and he's like, I said, what the heck? You know all the Psalms? Because I know every single Psalm. Right? And he meditates on every Psalm day and night. So that's ambitious, but I think if you do it every day for year in and year out, that'll actually happen. So that's encouragement as wisdom form. So we'll leave it at that. But there's more. Come back next week. We're not done with this.
Next week?
We're not.
No, we
Week
can't.
after next.
We can't.
I guess I'll be here and you won't.
Coming after Thanksgiving.
So we'll come after Thanksgiving. I guess we're not here next week, Diane.
We're not coming, right?
This is closed.
I'm gonna be eating turkey. Well, probably not at
On Friday?
10:30, but.
So anyway, thank you for being part of this. I'm glad to see you. Thank you for coming. So we talked about information in the Bible, data. We talked about wisdom. We're going to keep exploring that. And then if we get through wisdom next time we're together, which I'm sure we will, then we're going to look at. In 2 weeks, we're going to look at then morality of humanity and AI, relationship, ontological nature, epistemology, and so it's going to be really fun. We'll just bang that stuff out, and sort of keep going on this track. I'm sure we will finish this conversation on AI.
Excuse me, so I can prepare. Would you say the word epista something? I do want to look it up.
No, we're not. We will epistemology. Yeah, it's how you study or think about a thing.
That's so much easier just to say that. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's pray.
Simple.
Let's pray.
Thank you.
God, thank you for this group. Thank you for the Bible. Thank you for how completely interesting it is, and formative for us who know how to use it as a gift given by you, passed down through the generations, that we may meditate upon it and have a sense of your leading in our lives. Bless us until we come together again. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Nice to see you guys.